Hi everyone, I'm with Lukas, and Lukas is from Sweden. Lukas, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
How long, actually, before we jump into the interview, can you give us just a bit of background before you got here? Like, just what's your story? What do you do?
Yeah, who am I?
Yeah, who are you?
We're gonna take an hour to break it down.
Lots to say.
Yeah, no. So I'm 30 years old. I'm from Sweden. I live in Gothenburg, and I've been in TSW for 26 months.
Okay.
And yeah, I I don't know. I don't know how much like deeper
No,
to
no,
go.
no. Well, I guess that can allow us to sort of pivot to your pre TSW. Like when did you start the topical steroids?
Yeah. So as for many people, like started when they were very young. As for me, like, I think it was around 6 or 7 years old.
You're how old now?
30.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was more like a tiny rash on my arm. It was never anything huge or anything, but we got prescribed cortisone for my face, for my eyelids, and my arm, and also like this big like bottle of moisturizer as well. And I remember that didn't use it too much. I think I used it like as like the doctor said, like a few weeks, and then leaned off. But it went back and forth until maybe in high school. I was a bit older, and the rashes came back a little bit on my arm, and so I always went back and forth to doctors and just like asking them like, how do we do about this? Because after a treatment of cortisone, it's kind of coming back right away, as we all
Yeah.
recognize, and so they gave me stronger cortisone as well to try out, and it was fine. Like I could work with it, and not I didn't use more than like the doctor said I would. So I followed that and went with it, and then I moved to Barcelona, and it got a bit more severe. I got like eczema on my face. So I was like, ah, shit, like that's not nice. I asked the Spanish doctor as well, like, is there anything else in cortisone, because it doesn't seem to work so well. Like I would like to have something, because I knew cortisone maybe was not that good. So he was like, yeah, we got the topic, and I have never heard about it before. And he said there's no side effects of it. You can use it your whole life. So I was like, hell yeah, maybe we found something really good here. And yeah, so I started to use that. And I noticed pretty quickly that it's a difficult cream in the first place. Like it hurts, and it doesn't dry up even. So, but anyway, the rashes I had like spread all over my body, and I couldn't be in the sun after a while, and I couldn't swim in the ocean because it hurt so much. Like the skin was starting to slowly like dying. It felt like. I mean, I was in this super. So I'm just talking
Yeah,
now.
you're
Is
good.
right.
You're good.
So I was in a very like dark spiral where there's no really solution to what's happening, and it was getting worse, and the itchiness get worse at night, and I couldn't sweat after a while even, so because if I did it, it was like such pain. And so I tried everything, because everyone was like, have you tried this, have you tried this, have you tried that, as you know. So I tried many diets, acupuncture, different kind of like medicine, different treatments from all around the world, and nothing helped at all for me.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So tell us what you learned about Protopic when you got here.
When I got here,
Yeah, because Protopic is not a steroid,
no,
but it's
no,
at the potency 2 level. So
yeah,
tell me what you know about it.
it's a mean one, protopic. So I learned that it was mostly used for like transplants, organ transplants, which was weird. And then I also saw like it had this cancer warning label on it as well. So I was like, fucking hell, what am I using? And one time I bought it like over the counter in Barcelona, and the woman who worked there, she was like, you should not use this cream at all. Like you
Okay.
have no idea how bad this cream is for your skin.
Right.
And I was deep in my protopic use. Like I couldn't live without it at that point. And I was like, okay, trying to ignore that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when I like got here, talked to more and more people and patients who use Protopic, you quickly realize that Protopic is one of the worst ones.
Let
It's
me ask you. Let me ask you. You get here. How many months ago did you get here?
4 months ago.
So 4 months ago, you go in for your consultation. Did you know how much steroids and Protopic you've used?
I honestly used very little cortisone before I went to Protopic. So with Protopic, I'm around like 700 grams.
Okay.
And without it, I would for sure be like maybe 70, 100 grams.
And can you, for the people that are watching, like describe what 700 versus 70 means to you?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big difference when it comes to like healing in terms of how long the healing will last. So from going from 70, maybe that TSW journey won't be as aggressive and maybe as long. It could still be, going through TSW, but with the topic it definitely adds a lot of years on the healing part.
So you go in for your first consultation, your induction, I like to call them. They're 3 hours. What
Yeah.
did you learn about your case when you sat down with Jay? And what was your condition like when you arrived? And did you have support when you got here?
No, I didn't. But my skin was shit. I was oozing everywhere, red. It was a bit of a panic period as well because I arrived and I did not have like any place to stay permanently.
Okay.
So I ended up in a hotel that was absolute shit, TSW wise as well.
Yeah.
And so I was like in a panic. And when I got to the clinic, I just found out that my fiance had her like aunt here in Bangkok that had an apartment, so I can go in there. So I was super happy about that.
Nice.
But when I got to Jay in the clinic, my skin was a mess. And yeah, when he started to have his consultation, I didn't want to believe how like I thought he was basically coming here doing the treatment and I'll be fine and that would be good, which is far from it. You really you really have to.
I don't mean to chuckle, but it's like the treatment is what? They say 50% of the
Yeah,
actual work.
even less even I think. But
So
so yeah, a lot of talk about irritants and all these things to think about and to really understand your skin and to look after it and to realize that your skin is not acting randomly, which I definitely have found out when I'm here. It's definitely reacting all the time to stuff. So yeah.
can you give us an example of maybe like one or two things you've learned over the last 4 months through trial and error? Like, okay, you moved to your partner's aunt's house. Were you still waking up red in the morning? Were you still uncomfortable? Did you do any travel while you were here? How did you outfit your hotel room? What do you do? Like, what did you learn about what you need to do now that you're going home?
Yeah, this is definitely to create a safe like spot at home. Make sure it's like irritant free. Like really be your own Sherlock Holmes when you're home, and like if you're red when you wake up, like notice that something's maybe off at home, or yeah, that's one good one, big one for sure. And moving around, which I did a little bit a few weeks ago, because I couldn't be in the apartment I was in, so I had to go to different Airbnbs, and that really set my skin off like completely. So
I know you did. You've been very vocal about it
hmm,
on your IG, so people can go back and see that,
definitely,
see those posts. But
yeah.
like through that process, what happened to you? Did you regress? Were you able to pick yourself up? Like what changed in your skin based on like pre-cap?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking pretty normal at that point, which was strange. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I was very just genuinely mentally happy because it's crazy how that is connected to your well-being, how your skin is doing. And so yeah, as soon as I noticed that my skin was starting to go downward, oozing, scratching came back, I started to have reaction and hives on my body, mentally draining, and so hard to cope, and it's hard to lift up yourself as well. Holy shit. So yeah, it was difficult for sure.
So, what actual tangible tools did you use to lift yourself up? Not from the mental, emotional side, but also from like the physical. Okay, there's an allergen, there's an irritant. I've got to deal with this. So, like, you talk about Sherlock Holmes. Like, what did you do? Because you look great.
Oh, thanks. Woke up a bit swollen, but yeah, it's better now for sure. No, it's definitely a lot of panic. You get paranoid being your own Sherlock Holmes, because you can't really put a finger on it all the time what it is, especially when you're in an environment you haven't been in so long. So yeah, total panic and and feeling like shit, and then you just have to clean or make sure that you do these ground things to make sure we have an irritant-free space,
Okay.
if that's possible.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So, you're going home,
Yeah.
and I think this is your second to last treatment, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
I had the privilege of spending some time with your dad and your brother, and
It is a privilege.
just to hear how much they've both learned about topical steroid withdrawal, and also how they can support you,
Yeah.
as you continue this journey, because it's not over. We all know that the device is not a quick fix. It's how you're going to manage everything when you get home, whether you'll still need maintenance treatments or not. I mean, you're probably grappling with all of that as you're winding down, but it was a real privilege to see how much they care and how much they're interested in learning. So, what tips and tricks can you sort of provide viewers that are maybe not, having access to CAP or are thinking about what they can do in their home environment? Please share.
Yeah, no, I think that was like one of the most important things that happened, like within my family, that they were here and being able to actually see everything close, and having Jay talk to them and showing them different cases and how it works and how important it is to be on the same page as me and as like the people around you. I understand, like it's hard to grasp what kind of world we are living in and what we have.
Boy in the bubble is the way I describe it.
Yes, and all these irritants and all that. It's like it's ridiculous because I feel I feel like I'm annoying as hell when I start to like point at things. Like if my brother and dad are around, I'm starting to point at things like be careful with that because it could trigger something, and I feel like fucking hell. And now when they got into the same bubble as me, they were so like understand. They were like a light bulb, like okay, all right. And I mean, it's so much easier for me to be around and talk about TSW because I've always been not trying to talk about it too much because I feel like I'm annoying and it's annoying for them too. It's such a maintenance for them. So that's my definitely biggest recommendation for anyone who has someone close by in TSW. Like, go into the same bubble and like try to really understand like what is best for that person and do the same.
I heard everything that you just said, and I thought about how I operated at less than 10% of my capacity before I got here. I had to quit my job, all of those things. And do you find that you think about TSW now, but not as much maybe as you did before you got here, kind of thing? Like, it was always on my mind.
Yeah.
And now you can kind of at least live some freely a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially since I had such good healing in the beginning, and I reached a point where I felt great, and then TSW is just is way off. I was out and about. I was like trying to live a normal life. I was like, I'm good, and then it hit me.
Reality.
Reality hits, and TSW mind comes back, and some darkness, and as soon as there is stuff going on with your skin, you're constantly, like you turn that switch on. But thankfully, I didn't go as far down as I would normally go before the treatment, for example.
And that's because your healing rate was at 100%. And so the second you kind of like figured out what the variables were, removed them, you were bouncing back again.
Yeah. So now getting much better. I mean, it's these tiny things. I'm still a little bit scratchy and itchy at night, but like everywhere else, I'm getting back. So that's nice. yeah, and you're right. Like the TSW mind is turning into normal life mind. So, man.
Well, thanks again for doing this, and I think we can sort of wind down. But I wonder if you have any sort of closing remarks or thoughts for the floor before we say goodbye.
No, I don't think so. No, I think it's all shit. Every, yeah,
TSW is really hard.
yeah.
It's really, really, really hard.
the
It's
worst
not
thing
just
ever.
eczema, you know? It's
Hell
not.
no. And I could sit here. We could have this. I can have a monologue for hours. We should maybe have this.
You should do.
And I could just be ranting about things that I'm just annoyed at. But no, I'm just happy that you spread the good stories about the TSW patients and its importance. So thank you for that. Really.
It's my pleasure. The reason I do it is because Cap helped me so much. Off the top, I arrived here and I was like gray with hardened skin. At least I have some color back.
You look great now, definitely.
I by the grace of God, and honestly, like thankful to Cap and all the knowledge.
Yeah, and all the nice
received.
humidity in Thailand.
And all the nice humidity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring some back to Sweden when I go in a week.
It's going to be cold up there. Well, thanks everyone for watching. And if you have any questions for Lukas, he's on IG. Bye.
Bye.